Thank you. So he's running. Supposed to be going on. We have an interview, and I think didn't we?
This he'll do is yell. He has to yell.
So the oil and gas update. West hearing room 1:30. So we're doing. Are we gonna? Are we doing this? Yeah, that's a placeholder. Well, see, why are we doing oil and gas? I don't know, but that's what's listed. It wasn't even on here yesterday. It wasn't even on here yesterday. Or the Citizen Advisory Board and Committee interview. We had we have an interview, retirement board interview at 1. And then we had, this is what I have from yesterday.
Well, they work for it, right?
Okay, this is also what I got yesterday.
Tri-county.
Yeah.
Positions.
Yeah, Tri-County.
So we need to do.
And this is not. You don't think? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not doing that. Is this going to happen?
Yeah. And I agree. But we have to get him here.
I know, but that's not on our. It's not on here. Okay.
Well, we do occasionally.
It's not on there. I thought we would.
But I'm also
yes.
concerned about finding.
So we can go to the ceremony with the sheriff's office.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Well, the conflict with the sheriff's office was an interview today.
Mm-hmm.
I think in its place,
right.
There's an interview.
Right. But it's
got to be a compromise if we to do it.
No, there is. But it's not. It's like the insurance companies, you know. Oh my God, you know how much executives that work for an insurance company make?
Yeah.
And how much they pay their people?
I can't get on my shit.
You can use your own name and the number you love for your lawyers.
I just have to change it because I keep forgetting it.
Well, use something like that. Since I waited 2017.
Good morning. I'm going to call to order today's meeting of the Board of County Commissioners for January 23rd, 2018. To my immediate left is Ron Carl, the county attorney. To my far right is Joanne Sanchez, the clerk to the board. Ms. Sanchez, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Jackson?
Here.
Commissioner Holland?
Here.
Commissioner Sharp?
Here.
Commissioner Conti? Good morning. Commissioner Baker?
Here. Commissioner Sharp, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mr. Carl, are there any modifications to the agenda?
There are no modifications to today's agenda.
In that event, I would ask for a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Conti and approved by Commissioner Holland. All in favor?
Aye.
That motion passes unanimously. The next thing is the adoption of the agenda. May I have the approval of the minutes for January 2nd, 2018. This was a public hearing in which we were all present.
I so move.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Holland and seconded by Commissioner Conti. All in favor?
Aye.
And again, that motion passes unanimously. This is the time where we open up the comment period for citizens that are here to address anything that's not on the agenda. If there are any citizens in the audience that would like to speak, I see one. Good morning. If you'd state your name and address for the record, please.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Maureen Welch, and I live here in Arapahoe County in District 1. And I'm here today to speak again on the mill levy, the property tax that's collected by the county on behalf of the voters who authorized a mill for the benefit of individuals in the county who have intellectual and developmental disabilities. And you'll see in the short letter that I wrote to you that my son is 10 years old, and he has an intellectual and developmental disability known as Down syndrome, and we've lived in Arapahoe County for 10 years. We've been unable to benefit from the IDD mill levy funding for which he is fully eligible. After significant negative experience at Developmental Pathway, our county's CCB, we elected to move our son's case management for his waiver to Denver's CCB, Rocky Mountain Human Services. And they manage federal and state money, so it has nothing to do with the county, the CCB case management. I started emailing Developmental Pathways and several commissioners about this issue, and I've not gotten an answer back on this topic. And Representative Jeff Bridges at the State House has also expressed concern and reached out to try to get answers, and he also has not gotten any answers. The Denver County in 2016 in December put into ordinance 161071 that their IDD mill levy designated funds, similar to the ones we're talking about here for Arapahoe County, can be funding any program. It does not go to the community center board any longer, and I put a link into a Denver Post article if you want to read more about that. Several activists in the community are investigating the option of setting up a flexible spending account for mill levy, similar to some you may have had in the past for medical or child care expenses. The overhead for such programs is significantly under 10%, and that would allow families like mine to use a debit card and purchase whatever permissible uses and cut out the middleman. It would also allow things to take a lot less time. And I encourage the board to consider the many eligible Arapahoe County residents, such as our family, who qualify for this mill levy, yet are unable to access it because they do not have a relationship with Developmental Pathways. I'd be more than happy to meet with any of you or Developmental Pathways to speak any further, but I have not been offered any opportunities despite multiple emails. So thank you very much, and I don't know if there's any questions.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Are there any other citizens that would like to address the board on anything that's not currently on the agenda? Seeing none, close the citizen comment period. This is a time for us to talk about the consent agenda. Are there any motions?
I move to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Jackson, seconded by Commissioner Holland to approve the consent agenda. All in favor? Aye. And that motion passes. Any abstentions? Any objections? No. Motion passes unanimously. We have one general business item, a public hearing for Z17-006 Sky Ranch Preliminary Development Plan Amendment number 3. And our presenter, our county attorney for this is Bob Hill, and our presenter is Jason Reynolds. Mr. Hill, can you set the foundation for us, please?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. This proposed amendment to the Sky Ranch Preliminary Development Plan has been noticed in accordance with the Land Development Code through publishing, posting, and mailing of adjacent properties. The board has jurisdiction to proceed. Thank
you, and I made a mistake. It was on our board summary report that the presenter would be Jason Reynolds, but I see Molly Orkild Larson here. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Molly Orkild Larson, Senior Planner with the Public Works Department. What's before you this morning is a request to amend the Sky Ranch Preliminary Development Plan. The applicant is Pure Cycle Corporation. The Sky Ranch development is located immediately south of I-70 and between Powhatan and Haysmont Roads. This amendment proposes to decrease the standard lot width for the SF3 zone district from 50 feet to 45 feet, and the corner lot width for the same zone district from 60 feet to 55 feet. Also to add a note that the lot frontage width is measured at the 18-foot garage setback. They're going to revise notes 14 and 15 on sheet 1 of the plan set, and then I'll change the styles of the privacy fence and open rail fence details, and then last of all, change the style of the primary and secondary residential monuments. The proposed amendments do not change the number of lots that were approved, so there's no variation from that. On December 5th of last year, this application was before the Planning Commission and was approved 6-0. Based on the findings of the staff report, staff is recommending approval with conditions. This concludes my presentation. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them for you.
Are there any questions for Ms. Orkild Larson?
And the applicant is here, and he's more than willing to answer any questions that you may have of him.
I'd like to hear from you.
I assume there'll be a presentation?
Yes, I believe so.
All right, I'll turn it over to Mark Harding. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Harding. If you'll, your name and address for the record, please.
Good morning, Mark Harding. I live at 5530 South Forest Lane in the great city of Greenwood Village here in Rutland County. Delighted to be with you here today. I'd like to thank and acknowledge staff's help and support on this project and this amendment. It's really a very small amendment, kind of a technical amendment on the first part in terms of the setback. So there was a geometry issue on curves and how the linear curvature to the garage setback worked out for the particular designation. So I'll give you, let me see if I can get this set up correctly. That you can't read, so it's terrible. I apologize. But that's the geometry one that talks about where it's in the notes of the actual PDP amendment. So it's in various sheets. So this highlights the sheets. This can be part of the record for the board so that they understand where those actual changes occurred in that. The key things that I want to highlight are sort of the two things that we've changed on the fencing detail. So we've upgraded our fencing detail from the historic plat, the preliminary plat that was done a number of years ago. So this would have been the old style. We're moving over to a new style, kind of just upgrading the aesthetics of it. Instead of having a 2 split rail fence, we've got a 3 split rail fence. So that'll upgrade a lot of those in the open space in the trail orientation areas. And then the last one was a little bit of an update to the monumentation. So this will be the old theme being kind of this big window orientation. That was a nice feature, but it's difficult to control what goes on the other side of the window. So sometimes you want to highlight that. Sometimes I think we've kind of modified that to be a more enduring type monumentation, very neutral palettes that will last the test of time. So that's what we wanted to take a look at for the theme, and then sort of some of the secondary monumentation. So kind of a quick and dirty for you before you. Any questions?
I have one. The fencing material, did that change the type of material?
It does. I think it's a more of a composite-based material that has a little bit more weather.
Longer lasting. Okay.
Yep.
Any other questions for Mr. Harding? Commissioner Sharp.
I wasn't exactly clear on the geometry part. So can you tell me, so we went from, and I've got to bring it up here, 50 to 45. And so can you just give me an idea of why that was really necessary? And
so consistent with the lot sizes that we have within so we had three types of lot sizes: 45-foot lots, 50-foot lots, and 55-foot lots. And that's kind of targeting a specific demographic, so an entry-level home market in this. And so within there was a certain classification of SF3 that didn't have that 45-foot call out in the notes on it.
Okay.
And then it was where that setback begins to occur, or the 18-foot setback to the garage, the front of the garage. And it was the 8-foot lot line from the front of the 45-foot lot, 8 foot, and then 18 feet back will be where the garage offsets it.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. it's not an exception from the code. It's just an amendment to make sure that it's clearly delineated on the plat.
On the plat. Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. I think the improvements are the monument. And I think it looks much nicer, and
Thank you.
and the fencing too, with the 3 rails and.
I'm terrible at this, so having good people that really understand how to do that.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
I can't say how to do it, but I can certainly say what I like. And
right.
I think I agree. It's a much nicer feel to the monumentation.
Agreed.
Are there any other questions for Mr. Harding? If not, thank you. I'm going to open it up for public comment.
Thank you all.
Did we have anybody sign up to speak this morning for this public hearing? I don't believe so. No one signed up. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the board on this issue? Seeing none, I'm going to close public comment period, and I will go ahead and make the motion. In the case of Z17-006 Sky Ranch Preliminary Development Plan Amendment Number 3, I have reviewed the staff report, including all exhibits and attachments, and have listened to the applicant's presentation and any public comment presented at the hearing, and hereby move to approve this application based on the findings in the staff report, subject to the following conditions. 1. Prior to signature of the final copy of these plans, the applicant must address Public Works staff comments and concerns.
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Baker, seconded by Commissioner Sharp. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Seeing none, motion passes unanimously. Get to my place here. That was the last general business item. Are there any commissioner comments? Seeing none, meeting is adjourned.
And we need to ask Diana about a scheduling, and because we have a placeholder on the agenda today for oil and gas presentation. But I think that was being canceled. I think that's.
It was on today's agenda, 1:30, placeholder oil and gas regulation update. So that's one we.
That may be an old.
And it may be old. I don't know. Yeah, that's what was on my desk. It's not on my calendar. Yeah.
No, it's not.
So
we think that that's.
Right. Are you guys planning on going over to the SOAR